Welcome to the Author to Authority podcast. And today I have Trish Springsteen on, and she is a wonderful new friend of mine. We just connected recently, and in the podcast pre-interview, we realized that we have so much in common. And today we're going to be talking about one of my personal favorite topics, and that's publicity and leveraging your book in your business. Now, Trish is a creative business consultant, a multi-international award-winning mentor, speaker, award-winning international best-selling author, WebTV host. She specializes in creative solutions to make it easy for your clients to find you. And isn't that something that we all need right now in this COVID-19 environment? Clients work with Trish because they know that she can help them have the confidence to make speaking easy to increase sales and clients. Trish is Australia's leading expert in empowering introverts, typically mentoring introverts, authors, and advocates. She's also the host of Get Known, Be Seen, WebTV. So welcome to the podcast, Trish.
Hi, Kim. I'm absolutely delighted to be here. Thank you so much for having me on.
So why don't you introduce yourself a little bit more and tell us a little bit about your story?
Wow. Way back in the Jurassic period, which is what I call that, Jurassic period. Way back when I left high school, I was an extremely shy person and very introverted. And if you speak to anybody at that time who knew me, and you tell them what I'm doing now and what I do, they would just be rolling around the floor laughing because that just wasn't what I did. I didn't speak. I didn't get up to speak. I didn't write. I was a fantastic reader, loved reading, but that was what I did. And if we fast forward over the years, I have had several different jobs, but I always delegated speaking, and I was quite happy to do my jobs, and I was quite successful till I got a mentor, which is one of the reasons why I love mentoring, because mentors can change your lives. It's amazing. And this mentor sort of pushed, pulled me, shoved me, and got me interested into speaking. In fact, that's probably a whole other interview about how that all happened.
Was that a dragged you kicking and screaming type situation?
Well, basically, it was sort of that. It was also tripping me up because we'd moved cities, and being so busy and 2 kids at the time, marriage and working, we didn't get time to get to know anybody. So my friend that I was 10-pin bowling with, because that was something I was doing a lot of at that time, dragged me to a Toastmasters meeting.
Yes.
The thing is, the friend just said, look, I was saying, I need to get to make friends. He said, just come along to this meeting. We can make some friends there. There's lots of people. So you can imagine, shy, introvert, walk in the door and discover that this isn't just making friends. This was so you had to speak. I was not impressed at all, I can tell you. Fast forward to that. Look, that was probably one of the most serendipitous things that could have happened for me. It's probably one of those, how you have aha moments through your life, times where things can pivot, and because you choose to do that, your life goes down one direction, or you choose to do that and it goes down another direction. Well, that was probably a direction that has brought me to here, because through there I had these mentors, and I've been in Toastmasters 25 years. And
oh man, I'm a newbie compared to you. I've only been in 3 years.
25 years.
We both recommend Toastmasters, a great organization worldwide. I'm in Canada, she's in Australia.
It is. It's absolutely amazing where it can take you. From going in there just to make some friends, I ended up going through all of the leadership roles, ended up being the district governor for our area, which was covered 2.5 states, basically. It was a large area, 300 and something clubs, 3,000 people. It was quite large. Something that, again, anybody who'd known me in the Jurassic period, I don't step up and lead organisations. So come forward to now, got so involved, loved speaking, loved training, so much that we opened up our own business, my business partner at that time and we did that in 2006. Trained a lot of corporates, but come forward to where I'm quite passionate about now, which is the writing. And
yes,
we come forward and we used to do a lot of blogs. We'd write our blogs in the business. She would write some, I would write some, and we'd do a bit of writing, we'd do a bit of articles jointly. But I never saw myself as a writer. I was a speaker and trainer, and I was a people person. Not so shy now, still an introvert, but quite happy to get out there. About 4 or 5 years ago, we parted amicably, my business partner and I, and she went off to do what she wanted to do, and I went into more mentoring, one-on-one, still doing some corporate. And then about 4 years ago, my partner and I had written one book at the beginning, right early in the piece, because it was about 10 years ago. Because, of course, at that time it was said, really need a book to be credible. It helps you to stand up one next to and stand out, which still does apply. But at that time, we didn't know anything much about writing books. In fact, I was just asked on a Facebook group, how many books have you written? And how long did it take you to write your first book? And I went back and I said, well, it took us a week to write the first book. And everybody just goes, what? And I said, well, because we were lazy. This is where my favourite 2 words come from, repurpose and leverage. We had 10 years worth of blogs.
Yes.
That's a lot of blogs.
So you weren't starting from scratch.
No, what we did was we picked 1 year, took our favourite blogs from that year, tweaked them, changed the title, changed a few things, put a few extra little references in, and had our book. We did everything wrong, though, after that, because we didn't know anything about publishing or anything, so we trusted a publisher at that time, paid an exorbitant amount of money.
Heard that story before.
$10,000 Australian we paid. Trusted the publisher because we didn't know anything about titles, didn't know anything about front covers, nothing like that. We had brilliant content and we were brilliant at what we did. So we trusted we sent him off some ideas, and we thought, he's got graphic designers, he knows what he's doing, he's got all these people, he'll come back and tell us, yeah, you need to change that, or this is a better cover. No, he didn't. He took our ideas straight, put them on there, and produced the books for us. So we had a fantastic book, a lousy title, and a not so good cover, which has really sold. We've done a lot with it. But so when my partner and I parted company, about our business partner and I 4 years ago, I was left blogging. Now, I didn't mind about that. I blogged because I was used to blogging. And then I got approached by some people in America and said, would you do a chapter for a book for us? Nope. I'm not a writer. I'm not going to do that.
But the funny thing is, basically a chapter is a long form blog.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So if you could write a long form blog, like a really good long form blog, you could write a chapter in a book.
Absolutely. So when they came back to me and said, well, look, we would like you to write a chapter. So I thought, oh, look, I got to walk my talk. I talk and work with people to get known, be seen, to get out there, make it easy for your clients to find you. So I better do this chapter. Anyway, it's a book in America. It doesn't matter. No one here in Australia is going to read it. It'll be okay. If I'm awful, no one that knows me is going to know. Well, people in Australia read it. And they liked it. So that was about 4 years ago. So fast forward to today. I'm an author, co-author, and contributing author of 16 books.
Nice.
And 14 of those in the last 4 years. Because I got over my mindset in my block that I wasn't a writer. I discovered that I can write because all it is for me, I take the speaking and how I speak and let it just flow straight through me out onto the page. And when I got over that and realised that writing was just speaking on paper, I'd already spent many years being pushed, pulled and dragged and helped to be a good speaker. So I wrote. So I write as I speak and I love it. So what I do now is, I still work with people to get out there, but I also help them say, well, one of the ways to make your clients easy to find you is to have a book. And a book is a legacy.
That is so true. And you
It's
know what, Trish?
Business.
I really want to get into the middle section because we've only got a limited amount of time. And I know. Yeah. I want to hear more of your story. Really, I do. But I know that our listeners are really hungry to learn, how do you leverage a book in your business? So I know that you have some hints and tips and advice for us on that topic.
Absolutely. Because as I said, I don't like to reinvent the wheel. So one of my two of my favorite words are repurpose and leverage. And basically what I've done is built on when we wrote that first book. I realized that when I work with people, you've all got gold nuggets hidden away in your businesses. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go and reinvent new content.
No.
And if you've got your book and you've gone to the trouble of writing a book, whether it's over a year to, one person I know, one of my mentoring clients, it's taken them 9 years to write their book because she's a perfectionist and that's where she wanted to be. Until I said to her, perfection means you'll never get that book out. So I think you need to do imperfect action. So we got the book. I was at...
Wait, I want to stop there for 1 sec because I think this is so important. So many people I know get caught in that perfection trap. So let me free you from that perfection trap. There is no such thing as a perfect book. It's never going to happen because I can guarantee you between Canada, United States, the UK, and Australia, there's probably at least 8 forms of grammar alone. So how do you even navigate that? Secondly, you know what? Your book is not going to appeal to everybody. Even if you could make it perfect, there's going to be 10 to 15% of people that hate you and hate your book and will actively promote against it. I know it's kind of discouraging, but it's actually freeing because you know what? On the other end, there's 10 to 15% of people who will absolutely love your book, think it's the best thing on the face of the earth, and they become your brand ambassadors. So stop trying to write the book to that bottom 10%. Write the book to the top 10% that already love you. And it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be good. And not good enough. It needs to have a level of excellence to it. But it does not have to be perfect.
No, it never is. I mean, you've only got to pick up any book, even those from the top, the New York best-selling authors.
Yes.
And they've got New York Times best-selling authors. They've got editors and they've got big publishing houses. And you can still find errors in the book.
Yep.
You can still do it. So it's just about getting the book, using your expertise, trusting your expertise, your knowledge, and writing it and leaving it as a legacy. Mm-hmm. So what I was saying, I was at a workshop showing people how to repurpose and leverage their books. And I was saying, well, if you want to make it easy for your clients to find you and you want your people to buy your books, you need to take them out of your closet, take them out of your boxes, take them off your shelves. You need to put yourself out there and you need to put your book out there so that those people, those readers that need to read 1 or 2 sentences or paragraph or whatever it is in your book that could change their lives, they can find it. Because only a small percentage are going to hash their way through the forest and discover you. Mm-hmm. The rest you need to shine a huge light because they're not adventurous. They just want to know, I can trip over this book. Wow, this is what I need. Mm-hmm. So you need to do things like get up on social media. You need to put out there where your people are. And I had, one of my people there said, but Trish, you want me to write new content, to put out social media posts and that. When am I going to get time to work in my business? When am I going to get time to write another book if you want me to be doing all of that content all the time? And I just looked at her and I said, I know that you've just written a 30,000 word book. Do you know that if you just take 2 or 3 sentences every day, which you don't even have to do every day, from that book and post it, you have enough Facebook posts for the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And she just looked at me and she said, oh my goodness, I never even thought about transferring my book to anything else.
And I mean,
And
if
that
you
is,
want to get a little bit fancy, you take the logo from your book, from your title, you create a social media graphic template,
yep,
and you plunk the few words in and you
absolutely.
post it up. Like, it takes you maybe 5 minutes.
And she just like, wow, there was a light bulb. And that's what I say to people. You have gold nuggets. And if you've got a book, you've got an even bigger gold nuggets. Because
Right.
guess what? You can take that book, you can take one chapter from that book, turn it into an ebook, and you can give it away as a lead magnet to have people work with you or buy the whole book.
Yeah. Now I'm going to stop you there for 1 second. A lead magnet, just for people who don't know, is something that you use as an offer to get people onto your email list.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a freebie that you give away. And you're giving away what you're doing. The thought behind that is you're giving away value.
Yes.
And you're also, what I look at is it's a teaser, but it's an introduction. So it's an introduction to people who don't know you.
That's right.
And so instead of shoving a whole book in front of them, you give them a small part of that book, which allows them to easily find out who you are and what you're doing. And then
if they like it,
they'll want more. And so they'll come to either work with you or to buy your whole book. You can take part of those chapters and turn them into articles in the social, you can go out to magazines. You look for the magazines and the readers, there are heaps of magazines online and offline, and there'll be heaps of magazines in whatever niche that you are writing in. So why take, you want to promote your book. So you want to go, you can take that book and you can send it off to those magazines, and because some of them have bookshelf things where they review books. But you can also take a chapter from that, turn it into an article that will suit the readers of that magazine and pop that off. Again, repurposing and leveraging.
Yeah.
Now, this is one of my favorites, because what is trending and what is it that everybody tells you need to be getting into? Video. Okay, I've got a book and you want me to do video. What do you want me to do? Just get onto the book and, onto the video and talk about my book. Well, that is one way.
Yeah.
You can put yourself out to be a podcast guest, as we're doing now. Podcast hosts absolutely want guests, and they love authors who have books.
That's right, they do.
So get on and talk about your book. However, if you really want to hit the video, there is a fantastic piece of software that's online, and it's called Lumen 5. Lumen and then the number 5. Now, what that will do is you can take 1 or 2 paragraphs from your book. You go onto that software, you copy and paste that into the software, and it will take the sentences out, turn it into a series of slides, which becomes a 1-minute video. It also adds the images for you. It has a whole stock of images that it will match up. Now, sometimes those images match, sometimes they don't. So you have the option to upload your own images, take a little bit extra. And I can guarantee in a space of maybe 5, at the most 10 minutes, if you upload your own. You can also add music. In that space, it will produce a video without you even appearing in it. For those people who haven't really got that 60 seconds of insane courage yet to step up and actually do videos themselves, this is an awesome tool. It produces a video, it's informative, you've got music, you've got that, and you can put that video anywhere. YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram.
So I was thinking, Trish, when you said people who can't even do 60 seconds, we're Toastmasters. Our problem is you got to try and cut us down. I don't know if we could do 60 seconds if our life depended upon it.
Well, considering when I left us in the Jurassic period, I wouldn't have been doing anything like 20 seconds. Now I know, but you do learn timing and you do learn the value. But that's that's one of the things that I love about being able to repurpose and leverage your books. And you could turn them into articles, you turn them to videos. You can make an audio book from your book, and you can do that yourself, people. You can use Audacity, which is a free thing.
Yes.
And just put yourself down there 30 minutes an hour every night, read from your own book, record yourself on Audacity, and now you've got the audio. And you don't even have to do the whole book. You can just read one chapter from your book.
Yes.
And you can post that up as an audio, which can be given as value, again, as a lead magnet, or just pop out and make a series from it. So you have gold nuggets and ways of repurposing and leveraging. You can take your book and turn it into an online course.
Mm-hmm.
You take your chapters and you can turn it into a big online course if you make each chapter a module, or you could even break it down and make one chapter an online course and break it down into maybe 2 or 3 modules. It all depends, of course, on what sort of book you've got. But you will find that that whatever book you've got, there are ways for you to repurpose and leverage that book to let people know what you've written and the value of what you've written and how to find you.
You know, when you were talking, I had a couple of thoughts, especially when you said, dust off all those books you have sitting in your house. A thought I had is like, if your book is a general book, maybe not highly niche down and specialized, like it can be a specific topic, but if you have a specific topic that's can be geared to the general population, did you ever think of going to doctor's office and dentist's office and chiropractors and, all these types of people, and give them a copy of your book that they can put out to have people read?
Absolutely. Look,
and you put a big sticker on it because you don't want people taking the book, right? Like if, and what you could do is even like put a ton of bookmarks in that book or bookmarks on the table. And you just say, if you like this little preview of the book, if you like it and you want your copy, take the bookmark, here's where you can purchase it, or you want more copies, you can contact me at, right? So, even the books that you have sitting around, don't let them be sitting there in boxes.
Look, the reason I'm so passionate about people writing books now, and I call it a legacy. And one of the reasons, not only is it a legacy, but it also does add credibility to you.
Yes.
It's a help if you're in business, is that I use it as a business card.
Yes.
Because you can give lots of business cards out and they're valuable. And I say you should still have business cards. But people are more apt to, they'll keep the business card for a while. And then it's probably, let's face it, going to end up in the bin, be thrown out. Because people just get business cards piling up and they'll think, and throw them out. You give people a copy of your book.
They'll take that thing from house to house to house to house to house.
Absolutely. You don't throw books out. Very, very rarely do you ever throw a book out. It will sit on their shelf. They may not read it all the way through. They may read parts of it. It'll be there. And then they may pass it on to someone else. And then it may pass on. And I had this vision, my books, my business books, 20, 30 years, we have book sales and like secondhand book sales, big, huge ones. And I think, that book's going to end up in a book sale somewhere and someone's going to pick it up and they may only pick it up for a couple of dollars at, 30, 40 years time. But my book has still lived on. My message,
yes.
What I'm so passionate about has lived on. So
even the fact that sometimes that book might sit on the bookshelf for 1, 2, 5 years. I mean, I've had books that sat on for about 5 to 10 years. And all of a sudden I'm looking through my bookshelf and that book like leaps out at me. At the time I got it, I started reading and I'm like, ah. And then all of a sudden, a few years later, that book is like an instrumental tool to moving my life forward. So like, just because it goes on the bookshelf, it just means the timing's not right now. But think of it this way, if you've got hundreds or thousands of books out there, and over time, people are either going to give those books away and they'll get in the hands of who they need to get into, or that person's going to read that book, and all of a sudden you become that person. And, you know, you get this phone call or this email, or they connect with you on social media and they're like, oh, I just read your book and I need to work with you, right? And you're like, okay. And you say to them, like, when did you buy the book? 5 years ago.
It takes, this is why I'm passionate about helping people get known and be seen, because it takes time. Mm-hmm. And it takes us many points of touch and contact before people will want to work with you or get to know you or to like, know and trust you. And a book going out there, and what you do with your book by leveraging it, by you can turn your book into book reviews. You can use testimonials about your book. There is so much value in what you've got. And for those who are listening who may not have, maybe have only written one book, but may not even have started their book, there's still gold nuggets that you've got, because, hey, you've probably been blogging. Mm-hmm. And some of you have probably been doing workshops. You've been doing training. You've been maybe writing articles. These are all things that can be repurposed and leveraged. And you can do what I did in my first book. If you've been blogging and you've been thinking, oh, I'd really like to get a book out there, well, go and look at your blogs. Pick 10 of your favorite blogs. Change the titles a bit, because Amazon, if you put it up there, don't really like exact same information. But it doesn't take much to just change the title around, add a few up-to-date little case histories or a bit more stories to each one. And within a couple of weeks, you've got a book, which is your expertise, which you can put out. And
so, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, and for those of you out there who are thinking, I really don't want to write a whole book, and I don't think I've got enough. Well, why don't you write a series of short books?
Yes.
Take what we call ebooks. You know, they may be 15, 20 pages, maybe 50 pages. It might be something that you've just shortly put together. Mm-hmm. An ebook doesn't take very much. You can put your ebooks up on Amazon and sell them. And a series of short books, people like series. And in this fast time that we've got, everybody's so fast, although we have slowed down a bit with the interesting times we're in, people don't mind reading short books. And if they know there's a bit of a series in that. So it's a way of getting yourself up there by doing just a few series of short books. And you can still sell ebooks if you want. I mean, we have been sort of indoctrinated that an ebook is our lead magnet, is what we will do a short,
you can sell them
5, 10 pages, maybe 15 pages, and give it away. Yes, you can still do that. But it can also make you some passive income and establish yourself as an author by turning them into a series of ebooks and popping them up there and selling them. And so there's so much you can do with what you've got.
Well, Trish, our time is up for today, but how can people connect with you and find out more about you and what you do?
Absolutely. I run a book marketing club, which helps people to repurpose and leverage. It's for new publishers and, published authors or newly published authors or soon to be published authors. You can find that information out on my website, which is trishspringsteen.com. Springsteen is like the singer Bruce Springsteen. That's how you spell the surname. So it's trishspringsteen.com. You can go there and you can see information about my book marketing club. It all happens online. We do it once a week, and master classes go up all about how to repurpose and leverage your book. You can also find me on Facebook. Just put Trish Springsteen in and look for the person who is all purple. I adore purple, love purple. You can't miss me in that. I'm also on LinkedIn and on Instagram. So just pop Trish Springsteen in and you'll find me coming up there. Love to connect with you. You can also have a free discussion with me. And that was just, you go to calendly.com/Trischel, which is TRISCHEL/15 minutes, and book a free conversation. I'd love to talk to you about how you can repurpose and leverage your book and get that out there for everybody. Don't hide them. Shine that light brightly.
Well, thank you so much. This has been Trish Springsteen and Kim Thompson-Pinder on the Author to Authority podcast. Thanks so much for joining. don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and we will see you on the very next episode. Bye now.
Bye.